Around the Water Cooler. It is a nice, shorter type of segment that we have introduced here on the page to kind of hit some of the local news, some of the stuff that we want to hit on, but maybe isn't worth, the full 20, 30, 40 minutes sometimes that we go into in some of our other topics. And we had yet another Browns OTA today to break down and talk about a little bit. So, gentlemen, let's hit some headlines, some news. And first, I want to play a little game with you. Have you guys seen the catch drama that happened today at practice?
No, what
I'm
was the
not.
catch drama?
All right. Well, for our audio only listeners, it is going to go quiet here for about 30 seconds. So hit that little skip forward button. But for our video viewers, here is the play.
No.
So I ask, gentlemen, was it or was it not a catch?
I saw a catch. I'd have to see it again, but I was seeing a catch.
John?
Yeah, I agree. They called it a catch, I believe. I mean, his toe did look like it was close to the white, but this is OTAs. It's not even training camp, let alone preseason. We don't have 72 cameras on this thing. From that view, if I'm the umpire on the back line, yeah.
Can you throw it up there one more time, Noah?
I'll throw up the still image to show you that this was, in fact, not a catch. He only had 1 foot down when he had complete control of the football.
This is wait.
I was thinking
this
he
is
was
the foot
going
you
into,
think he
like,
has
danger.
down.
Yeah, so see how he just now has full control of the football in his gloves?
I
That
see it
is
now because it's a still, but he had full control and his other foot was down. I thought the argument was, is this toe out of bounds or inbounds? It's definitely a catch.
2 feet. The way
So-
the angle of the pass was, I thought he was like going towards an end zone kind of plane, or is that supposed to be the back of the end zone?
It was the back of the end zone. He was catching it in the back of the end zone. And
Got
to be
it.
fair, all of the reporters that were there in person, as well as the coaching staff, decided after further review that it was not a touchdown. So I just want to play a little game with you guys. But let me open the floor. What did you guys see in OTAs that excited you today? What did you see that, maybe made you scratch your head a little bit? I definitely got a lot I want to say, but I open the floor to you guys. John, why don't you kick us off?
It's kind of one of those things for me. We talked about it. It's silly season, right? Guys are in shorts and T-shirts and nothing but helmets playing practice and 7-on-7. But I was looking at the completion rates and who got the most snaps. No, I don't know if you have that available, but the thing that always jumps off the page to me is in a team that has 5 quarterbacks rostered-ish, depending on how you count Deshaun, seeing who gets the most reps and who's getting the most time with the ones and who has the most pass attempts, regardless of completion, is always interesting to me. So I'm not so much looking for how crisp and perfect everybody looks. That's going to change. They have time to gel. It gives you insight into who the coaching staff thinks is going to be leaning towards starter because it's the person who's getting more of the reps. And I always find it interesting that even though they list the entire list in the order that they provide, usually the guys at the bottom get more reps. So the things that stand out to me are like how many reps are Shedeur getting versus Flacco to give you a sense of A, who they want to spend the most time on, and then B, who might be our starter in the fall.
Yeah, let me give you some background on that. I just didn't want to pull the graphic up while you were talking since it always covers you because you're in the center. It is to note that all of the quarterbacks today got reps with the first team except Shedeur Sanders. And Joe Flacco took the least amount of reps on the kind of mindset that he's a vet and we know what's going on. So here is this week's QB stat tree from OTAs. The fact that this is a graphic still irks me a little bit, but I created it nonetheless. We have all of the combined plays between 11-on-11 and 7-on-7, so the competition drills at the end of the season. And you can kind of see where the rep splits were and how everybody performed. Erik, John, any reactions?
It's so tough to actually bring anything of substance out. I think John's waving to tell you to take the graphic down. There's not much you can really glean here. The thing that stood out to me that I liked is that some of our backs were getting reps in the passing game. So several of our running backs, 3 of them, in fact, caught passes. I like to see that. It makes us more dynamic. We know what they can do in the backfield, but coming out of the backfield in a pass-heavy scheme potentially is kind of exciting to me. From the quarterback play, yeah, I'm not too worried. The offensive coordinator Tommy Rees said that the who's going to get reps and when they get reps is going to remain a fluid situation, and right now is the most time for reps in general. So I wouldn't put too much stock into it. I did see some things from the defense that I liked. A couple different guys would have had sacks if it was actual live play. There were some interceptions, so that's always nice. And D coordinator says that Mason Graham's coming along nicely, so that's another nice thing to see. So there's some positives coming out of camp that I like.
Something else that I didn't know, there's only, like I did some quick math, I might have been a little off. There's only 56 total offensive plays in an entire day. It seems to me like with ones and twos and multiple fields, they could run more. Oh, those were passing attempts. I'm sorry.
So those are passing attempts
and okay.
Pass-specific drills, 11 on 11, 7 on 7. They're only really passing right now because they're not in full pads, so they're not running a rushing play on team drills. If you've been in a structure of a college pro-style level of practice, this makes sense because you get 10 to 15 reps at the end with your ones, then you get like 10 to 15 with your twos, and then like 5 if there's time left with the threes, so on and so forth. Typically,
Noah, did you play college football?
Okay, you're just being an ass to be an ass. Some of the other stuff
twice this show.
Some of the other stuff that went on today during OTAs that I thought was important was there was an interview with Tommy Rees, who said, "You can all see them winning the job. Yes, we are really early in the competition trying to get them ready to go." And I think this brings up another point that I know Erik wanted me to throw up and talk about, which is this report that came out today. Erik, if you want to kind of dive into this just to give myself a break.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the report came out that people inside the building can see that Shedeur could be the starter. I think that's good and bad news. I think it's good news in the sense that they're seeing leadership qualities and things out of this kid that make it possible where you could see him under center. That's great news as Browns fans. What worries me a little bit here is that once again, we're putting cart before horse and we're setting the kid up for failure. And that's what worries me the most because, like it or not, if we have some bad games under Flacco, if we have or whoever, they're gonna be calling Shedeur Sanders' name in the stadium and in media and on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. That's what we do as Cleveland fans, and I'm a little nervous for that in the sense that I don't want to throw him to the wolves. We've seen how we've ruined quarterbacks before, but at the same time, we also took a rookie to the playoffs. A guy we should have kept. So who knows? This guy could be the limit, but it's interesting.
See, I've been thinking about this in a different light just a little bit, in the fact that I think Joe Flacco is 100% going to start the season. I think all 3 of us are probably in agreement that that's going to happen. And I know a lot of people complained about it when the schedule came out. The hardest part of our season is the first 5, 6, 7 games. I don't remember off the top of my head. So basically, let's go run with the veteran out there to get past some of the hard stuff and then let the rookies learn. Honestly, it kind of worked in the favor of the process of getting those rookies out a little bit later, like you tend to when you're developing a guy that isn't a bona fide Andrew Luck level prospect. You know what I'm saying?
But
it works out when you have the guys that are in there who don't. Sorry, go ahead. There was a delay. My bad.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I lost my train of thought. Go for it, bud. You'll come back.
That's all right. Do you not get the feeling though? I get it that Joe Flacco's the veteran presence, and he stated publicly that he wants to be the guy, he wants to compete, which I respect that. But it feels to me, and I could be way off base here, but it feels to me more like college. And what I mean by that is this coaching staff, I don't think at this point is afraid to do what they think is going to be best. whether that's starting Shador, whether that's starting Flacco. I don't think he's won the job just because he's a veteran presence by any stretch. It feels more like Ryan Day making a decision next year, and it's in Ryan Day's hands. That's what this Browns team feels like to me. I don't know if you guys disagree, but I don't think it's the typical, hey, this guy's definitely the starter, that's why we picked him up. I think it's up in the air.
I do too. It drives me crazy. And what I think is I regained my my thread there. What I don't like about this, Noah said, hey, if you have Flacco start, he kind of takes the brunt of the shitty part of the schedule where everybody's really tough, and then we bring in a rookie. It kind of works. It kind of works for player development. I see what you're saying. It sucks for people who actually want the team to win. We're going to throw out a 41-year-old to get his head caved in so we can give a 21-year-old a starting quarterback job in the NFL. Like, that's not a recipe for 11 wins. Tell me if you think the Chiefs are thinking, you know, what we should do is start somebody to get their head caved in for 8 games and then switch them. The other two things that come to mind are just 2 quick quotes. One, I think, was Bill Parcells. He said, if you think you have 2 quarterbacks, you really have none. We think we have 4, so we're doubly screwed. And the other thing is that the other thing that's a saying is there's no more popular man in Cleveland than the backup quarterback, and you're looking at starting the season with 3 to 4. So get ready for drama and ridiculousness, because unless whoever the starter is starts 6-0 and throws for 4 touchdowns and 400 yards every week, somebody somewhere is going to be saying, give Dylan Gabriel a chance, give Shador Sanders a chance. And it's fun for drama and news and before the season, but by the time you get to week 2, ESPN going live to Berea to figure out which of your 87 quarterbacks is going to play gets so old so fast. So you're not wrong that for developing the young guys, this is a cool kind of way like that might give them a shot. But overall, as a fan, am I excited about this? Absolutely not.
And I think I articulated it the wrong way, where I put it in a frame where it was, this is for sure going to happen, and it's the best thing that's going to happen. No, if Shador goes out there, I don't want Stefanski to just table him. If Shador looks like he could be the guy week 1, let Shador be the guy week 1. Put the best player out there and let it rip. Because if you have the guy and you got him in the 5th round, and now you're going into next year with 2 first-round picks to add to the offensive line, to add to the receiver room, to add to the secondary potentially, so you can move on off of some of these guys that are not getting older but are moving off of their rookie contracts. I think it makes sense. So you guys took my point and pushed it to the finish line, in my opinion.
Guys, I feel like I'm losing my mind here, because I really think this season's going to turn out a little rosier than most people have. Most media outlets have us taking the number 1 pick again next year. And I think that's crazy.
Pro Football Focus had us ranked as the worst roster in the NFL. If you use their own ranking system from last season and rank the players that have come back, we're like 19th. Their own ranking system. So what does that tell you?
You know, it's more than the sum of its parts, though.
Can you bet on like just making the playoffs? Like, can I put $10 on the Browns just making it?
Yes.
There's a prop bet for whatever the hell you want to do. You just got to find the book that has it.
Don't do it.
I think I might put $10 on it. I mean, I'm not saying we're a playoff team. That's for sure. But I think we're a middling. Like, I think we could squeak out 6 or 7 wins potentially. Is that insane? Maybe it is. The schedule's tough,
in my view, it's a little insane. We already did shake on dumplings at 6.5 wins or something as the over under, and I feel great about that.
We got
to
find
say
that
they could make the playoffs. It does sound crazy to me, but what do I know? You know, they could surprise them.
Was it one order of dumplings or multiple?
It was one order. It was one order. Gentlemen, what else do you?
What's his name too?
Yeah, Tim. Gentlemen, you guys got anything else you want to cover OTA wise?
I got one.
What's up?
Noah, we always kick it to you as our resident football guy for a little in-depth behind-the-scenes look at how this kind of stuff works. So I thought up a little segment. Didn't ask either of your permission. We're going to do it anyway. I thought about naming it as in honor of your offensive line pedigree, Noah. I wanted to give it a name befitting a former NCAA athlete. Or NAIA. I don't know where Wooster is, but
NCAA.
Okay, I thought so.
Only because they changed it.
Right. I thought about the Pancake Pantry, Browns beef or hogs and dogs. Shout out to the old Redskins, now Commanders. Dogs in the trenches, snap, crackle, and block. There's so many good offensive linemen.
How
puns
many
I came
of
up with.
these came from ChatGPT?
ChatGPT? Is that hyperbole?
No, you gotta give them a name. I said ChatGPT. That's you get where I'm going with it.
I do now.
It was a fumble of a joke. That's what it was.
Three of them came from
salty.
ChatGPT. One came from a Google search, and 2 I made up, which is one I landed on.
Okay.
Which, since it's early season, you'll get the pun. A quick mini segment called Snap Judgments. Boom, boom, ching. The question for you, Noah, is what do you think about the Browns offensive line? How are we looking in the trenches? We used to have the best offensive line coach in the NFL. We know it starts and ends up front when it comes to run game and passing. Tell us how the big eaters are looking.
Wait, hold on. Before you go, snap judgments.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you kicking it to me that way. I like the name. I like the throw over. I got 2 notes on the offensive line. The main one being doubling back on the DeJuan Jones take that I had last week of he looks great. They talked to him about that. He had a press conference after OTAs today, and he had an exact quote of, I took better care of my body, just lost a lot of body fat, and I pride myself on that. I'm happy about that. If you look at the picture, I didn't pull it, but you should go find it on Twitter. My boy's looking good for an offensive lineman, and I'm really excited. I hope this is good for his injury takes. I think it's good for his movement to play left tackle and be potentially a left tackle of the future and many, many years for this team. It gives me some hope. It's good things to see right now.
You know what gives me a lot of I don't know if John wanted me to answer this too, but I'm going to anyway. The fact that Joel Bitonio is raving about the O-line coach, Mike Bloomgren. He is so excited. He feels like they have their identity back as an O-line unit. As a veteran guy, I don't think he's the type that just talks to blow smoke. That's what gets me excited.
It does get me excited as well. I think there's going to be some good things coming out of this run game. I know we're talking offensive line, but Judkins has looked great. He's in fantastic shape. I'm so excited to see that Buckeye run all up and down Lake Erie. I got one more O-line note, and then I'm going to kick us to commercial break if y'all are cool with that. Yeah? Perfect.
Yeah. Running back always were good in training camp. This might be a hot take for another show, but pound for pound, strength for strength, skill set for skill set, I think running backs are probably the most talented athletes in the NFL. So they all look real good in tight shorts and tearaway jerseys because they're chiseled. Like, they are absolute monsters. Like, look at Derek Henry.
That's a completely valid point.
Yeah.
Completely valid point. But still, nonetheless, excitement because he is a Buckeye and he is now a Brown. The last thing I got that I think is interesting is Zach Zinter, the Michigan guard that we drafted last year. He played some guard all over for us. He got some center reps today. And he is a sneaky one to potentially take Ethan Posic's spot and them cutting Ethan Posick. He had rave reviews coming out of college until he broke his leg. I think it was the Ohio State game. Had a shaky rookie year. He was all over as a swing guard, interior offensive lineman, basically. Had the rookie blues, but he's put on some good weight in terms of muscle and that kind of thing. And a year after the horrific injury that happened to his lower extremity, I think he could be a potential good fit at the center position for the Cleveland Browns. Really excited to see what he has going on. John, I want to say thank you again for kicking it over so I could talk a little fat guy ball for a little bit there.
This has been the first edition of Snap Judgments. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
And speaking of regularly scheduled programming,